It's a competitive video game. If people are playing a character, not because they think they're cool, not because they think they're neat, but because they know that the character is strong, too strong even, and they are playing them because they want to win, what is wrong with that? Some of you guys are going to look at the title and thumbnail of this video and you're going to be confused. You're going to be like, what do you mean? Yeah, of course. Who cares what character you play, right? There's lots of stuff that's way more important than that. That's awesome. You guys are great. This video is not for you. I want to address a little bit of a sentiment that's not new at all, right? Anyone who's been playing fighting games for any amount of time will have run into this idea, right, of, oh, bro, you're carried, right? Oh, that's a great word. You're carried. You're a tier whore. That's another not very nice word, but yeah, you know, you're just bad at the game. Your character's doing all the work. Fisher Price character is a fun one. I listen. Some of them are funny. It doesn't mean I agree with them, right? But that is a funny way to describe things. I've heard lots of characters in this game described as Fisher Price, right? Just like your character's brain dead, whatever. And usually this kind of discourse also tends to revolve around not just characters that are simple to play, but also characters that are simple to play and strong most of all, right? So I just want to address this because I feel like, well, the inspiration for this was something that I noticed in my Discord there, which but no one there was being mean or like bullying anyone for playing a top tier or anything like that. But there was a person in there who plays Nier, which, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, this concept applies to all fighting games, in my opinion. But, you know, Granblue is the thing we have the most experience with on this channel, so we're just using it as an example here. But, you know, this little evil cinnamon roll here that I just put in the ground, this is probably the strongest character in the game, right? Lots of people, maybe, like, no one really disagree with that. If someone wants to disagree with that, they'll be like, no, he's actually the second strongest character. Like, no one is arguing the fact that this character is very powerful. And, like, probably, let me just stick out an olive branch to the top tier hating individuals. Probably too strong. Probably too strong. Nier is, I would say that a nerf to, at least in my opinion, this right here, a nerf to that is warranted. But we're getting off track. I'll address the separation there in a second. But the point is, there's a person on my server who someone asked him to play a friendly, and they're like, oh yeah, sure. I play Nier, by the way. Like, is that okay? Like, I can switch characters if you want. I can play somebody else, completely unprompted, right? And apparently it's because, you know, when people they hate playing against Nier and they get all weird and negative and you know, bitchy, for lack of a better word, when this person played Nier in the friendlies, so just like, I just don't even want to deal with that. If you just don't want me to play Nier, let me know, I'll play another character. This person like picked up a secondary seemingly to avoid what is like some minor harassment for playing a top tier, right? So that's kind of the impetus for this video here, and we're gonna discuss this idea and like this. Why I disagree very strongly with the idea that picking a certain character or playing a certain character for whatever reason is somehow a bad thing or an indicator of anything meaningful at all, right? I don't know if this is going to be a 5-minute video, a 10-minute video, a 30-minute video. I mean, you guys see the timestamp down there, so you guys know better than me, but I have a little bit of a tendency to yap, but hey, you know, we'll get into it here. And if you guys appreciate or enjoy this kind of content, let me know, or you might liking and subscribing, of course. And if you have your own thoughts, I mean, if you're listen, I have a question. I have a request. If you are one of the people who disagrees very strongly with the title of this video, okay? I want to ask of you at least listen to like 10 minutes of this and then comment to let me know what you think. If you still disagree with me, that's entirely fair. That's entirely your right. I'm not here to flame anyone, right? I'm not trying to fight fire with fire. I just want to provide a counter viewpoint to what I've found to be a relatively common sentiment in the FGC over my past like 7 or 8 years of being sort of involved with fighting games to different levels of depth, I suppose. All right, that's enough beating around the bush. Let's start talking about this. So, when I say it's okay to play a top tier, there is usually one sort of shield that top tier players can kind of hide behind really quickly to make their choice okay, right? Oh, I just think they're cool. Oh, I just think the character's sick, right? I'm not doing this because they're strong. I just think it's, you know, I just think they're cool. And then people will oftentimes scrutinize that sentence very hard to be like, you know, like if the character gets nerfed and they like stop playing the character, like, haha, your true colors have shown or something, right? Let's start with that though, because that's probably the one that I can get the most agreement on. Say for a second that somebody isn't lying to you there, right? Nier, for example, a lot of the Granblue characters, a lot of fighting game characters in general, right? They have either interesting lore, they have a lot of personality. Oh, excuse me. They have a lot of personality behind them, right? Maybe you just think that the little fox cat girl looks cute, and that's why you want to play her. Maybe you just think they're neat for some reason that has nothing to do with their mechanical strength. You just think they're neat, and they happen to be strong. I think, as long as the person is not lying about that, or well, I don't even care about that, but just, you know, step by step here, I think that's fine, right? I really like the character. I think they're cool. They just happen to be really strong. You really can't get on them for that. right? When you want them to like play a character they find less interesting because the character that they find interesting just so happens to be top tier, right? That's not fair. I don't think we need to go too deep into that one. But what I'm going to argue is that if you are playing Nier because you're like, this move is broken, this move is strong as hell, and like listen, I'm not a Nier player, so I can't like do all the weird special cancel shenanigans, and it's not particularly difficult, but like I just don't know I don't have the muscle memory in them for my hands. This would be my first time ever doing it. But if you're playing Nier and you're just like, I like this move is broken, and in case you're unfamiliar, that's basically pre-nerf Street Fighter 6 JP Amnesia on steroids, right? It does massive damage. It is quite difficult to punish. It's punishable, but compared to most other DPs, it is quite difficult to punish. At least like half your health bar on hit, right? It punishes strike. It punishes, well, it actually loses to throw, but like it's a really, really powerful move, right? I would argue too strong. Now, if you are the kind of person you're like, this move is too strong, and I'm playing the character because I recognize that this is too strong and that all the other crazy stuff that this character can do is too strong, right? And that's why I'm playing the character, because the character's strong and I want to win. I got news. That's also valid. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's a competitive video game. If people are playing a character, not because they think they're cool, not because they think they're neat, but because they know that the character is strong, too strong even, and they are playing them because they want to win, what is wrong with that? Why is that a problem? Right? The same people who will be very angry about somebody playing a top tier and getting like carried to victory, or my favorite, tier whoring, right? Which is I just hate that so much. It bakes in the idea that playing a character because they're strong is already bad, right? It makes you a whore for doing so, right? And like, why is that a problem? And those same people will get very, they'll also care about winning or losing their matches. It's not like these people don't care. It's like, oh, we're just here to play the game and have fun, right? So why do you care about your character's strengths and the win rate that gives you? You should just have fun with the video game. This mindset is never, it's the person who's angry about people playing the character to give them a better win rate are the same people who get really mad when they lose most of the time, in my experience, right? And if that's not you, I'm sorry, right? I'm just speaking. If you think that you're in the camp of, I just think we should all play the characters that we find the most interesting and fun, and not worry about our win rates. If that's really you, fair, that's fine. We'll get to you as well. But a lot of the times, what I've encountered is the kind of people who get really mad at someone playing a top tier because it carries them to victory, also really want to win. So it doesn't make sense. The person's playing the character because it helps them win, and you get mad when you don't win. So why aren't you playing the character, if anything? And even if you're not going to play the character, why don't you understand someone just wanted to win at the video game, right? Everyone wants to rank up. Everyone wants to get out of, at Grand Blue, everyone's stuck in S, right? Everybody's stuck in like S5 or A1, S1, S plus 5, right? A5, B1, right? That's like that vortex holds like 70% of the player base or something like that. And it's we can talk about that in a later video, but being hard stuck like that is not fun, right? Fighting games can be a little bit of a frustrating journey sometimes. So if you're like, you know what? If this Nier character, they kind of resonate, I feel like I can play them, and they'll help me win, they'll help me get out of this black hole. What's so bad about that, right? So on the sort of related topic of, well, no, I just think we should always play the video game to have fun, though. Who cares about winning? This is like the best kept secret in fighting games, right? But it's not. I'm not gonna call it a zero-sum game because two people can have fun playing a match, but winning is fun, right? You guys, if you guys actually watch any of my videos, I'm always the guy who talks about don't focus on winning and losing in the short term, right? Because we do a lot of talk about the ranked climb, and we did a road to master with Ladiva in this game, right? And we completed that. So I'm huge on don't worry about winning or losing, focus on learning something from every match, focus on improving, right? In the short term, wins and losses, don't let them get you down or even up. Like, don't worry too much about winning, just worry about how well you were playing. I agree with that wholeheartedly, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, spending an entire round doing this to somebody, right? Spending an entire round just command grabbing somebody over and over, and they got no idea how to get out of it, and they're locked in the mix, right? And then the one time that they finally get command grab, I actually hit them with the strike, and we go into the full combo, and I just perfect them. That's fun. That is fun. When you win at a video game, and you are in a position where it just feels like everything is clicking, and your offense is working, and you got the read on the guy, you're just reducing him to atoms, and he's in a blender, and he's got no chance. That's fun, man. So even if you're in the camp of, oh, I just think everyone should play the video game for fun, winning is fun. It's, again, in competitive video games, winning is fun. So, honestly, no matter what angle you come at it from, right, I think no matter your reason for playing a top-tier character, it's kind of valid, right? Like, maybe you could argue that, like, so the idea of the zero-sum game, right, the energy vampire, as it were. Like, some people will say, like, the less fun your opponent is having, the more fun you're having, right? That's kind of, it's inversely proportional like that, which is why I'm calling it a zero-sum game. There's like 100 happiness up for grabs, and for you to have 100 happiness, that means your opponent has to have 0. That's a more debatable topic. But honestly, even if your goal is I'm just gonna hop online and like I'm gonna make a dude rage quit, right? I just wanna hit him. I wanna hit him with this move. I wanna I wanna take 70% of his health into Super Skybound Dart, right? And I just want to reduce him to atoms. If that's your motivation, that's fine too, man. Again, like it's, you shouldn't be going out and trying to make people suffer in real life, but it's a video game. And people lose sight of this sometimes, right? If like making somebody's life miserable in a video game is like a joke. Like even saying making somebody's life miserable there, I'm saying it in a joking context, right? Realistically, if a Nier like full comboing your ass from like 70% to death, because you had like one bravery point left and you got DPs, if that's something that is going to genuinely ruin your day, we can talk about that in another video, right? But that's not the Nier player's fault necessarily, right? So I just wanted to get through all of that sort of general idea of really, no matter what reason you have for wanting to play a top tier, I don't see a reason that's invalid, that makes you a bad person, or that you need to be called a tier whore, that you need to be, that your skill at the game needs to be questioned. That's another thing, by the way. So we can talk, this is a more general idea for sure, but are tier lists important? They technically, yes, in the sense that, is Nier a stronger character than Ladiva? I would argue almost objectively yes, right? However, does that matter at 99% of levels of play? Kind of, but not really, not nearly as much as people make it out to be, right? If anything, for example, listen, I'm the grappler player. So I can admit this fully. At lower levels of play, at most of the levels of play that, most of the player base is at, if you are like anywhere from like A1 all the way down there, right? A1 to like D5 in Grand Blue, right? Or like, if you're in like yellow ranks or something like that, or well, actually, Tekken's a little bit different because King is actually a grappler and very strong, but it's okay. If you're like, below like Plat in Street Fighter 6, guess what? The grapplers are actually carrying you, right? It's the exact opposite. Even though they're low tier, what makes them low tier doesn't really manifest until like people start getting better at the video game, right? So for a large majority of the player base, the tier list is completely different. Like if I were to make a tier list right now, and I were to make a tier list for tournament level play, right? I got my ass handed to me in TNS a week ago, or no, it wasn't a week. It was a couple days ago. It was yesterday. I'm sorry, time dilation. I record these things in advance, and sometimes forget when the different videos came out. But if I were to, I just went to my first Grand Blue tournament. I participated in 2 in TNS. We went even. We went 2 and 2. But it was tough. If I was to try and make a tier list for tournament level play, it would be completely different from a tier list for like A rank. I promise you, Ladiva is actually S tier. Listen, Ladiva is S tier in A rank. I beg of you to believe me. This character has insane damage, highest health in the game, super simple execution. I can't do any combos with any other character because grappler execution is so easy, right? Just a raw 50-50 that is just in vortexes, and it's like he's got knowledge checks. If you don't know how to deal with this consistently, right? He's going to blow you up. This character is like S tier in like A rank and below, and maybe bottom 2 or bottom 3 in tournament play. Right? So it's not even the tier lists don't necessarily matter in lower ranks. It's that they're completely different than lower ranks. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little animated here, but I just want to stop and pause every now and then to remember that I'm not trying to antagonize anyone here, right? It's a subject that I'm passionate about, so I'm going off a little bit, but I don't mean, again, if you are the person that this video is aimed to try and convince, if you are the person who believes that people who play top tiers are, in some way wrong or need to be bullied out of that, maybe you're not so extreme, but I'm just, for lack of better words, I'm not here to antagonize you, so I'm sorry that I'm getting a little bit animated, right? But this is just something that I care about. So my big point is that what a top tier even is a really fluid concept, right? A lot of people will watch like, I don't know, who's like Diaphone, right? Cracked Grand Blue player, cracked fighting game player in general, but we're on the topic of Grand Blue. He's really good, right? And he puts out a tier list and he says like, oh, all of these characters are super great, right? And that might still hold. Like, it's not like Nier is bad in A rank, right? But the gap in how much better she is than some other characters is going to be completely different if you are not using Nier to her maximum potential and you're playing some other characters. Like, again, Ladiva is a lot simpler. Nier is not particularly hard. Ladiva is one of the easiest characters in the game, and the knowledge checks that she has really blow a lot. Like this move, right? Everyone who's in my Discord knows how this move is brain rot for me, because from like B rank all the way up to like, honestly, like S plus 1, I was hitting people with this consistently. This move is entirely reactable. Entirely reactable. I tried to hit this on Zerom. I tried to hit this on Shinku, right? Like really like high level Grand Blue players. It's not even a matter of whether or not they see it coming. They can just react to this 100 times out of 100 and blow me up for it, right? But in like S plus and below, this move is broken. This is a command grab that leads into a full strike combo, right? Like this is not balanced at all. If you can't stop this move consistently, this is like the strongest move in the game. This is better than Nier DP. Yes, like for real, right? Step to me. Like this move is better than Nier DP, assuming you can't react to it and you like and you're just gonna get hit by this like 75% of the time. It's completely broken. So let me calm down for a sec here and just summarize this point, right? The idea that a lot of people will go off and they'll see what the really high rank players are talking about, and they'll take that and they'll apply it to their own game. And when it comes to which characters are too broken or which characters whatever, it's not even accurate most of the time, right? So we're just stacking layers of arguments here, right? One, even if the character is broken and someone is playing them because they're broken and they're playing them because they want to make you mad at the fact that the character's broken, I still think all of that's fine. It's a video game, right? And then on top of that, most of the time you're wrong about the character being broken, in the sense that if you're out here and you're in like S rank or S plus or something like that, probably you are not. Some of the weaker characters, their weaknesses are not being exploited as much as they would be in high rank, which is what makes them weak. And some of the stronger characters are probably not being optimized to the extent that they are by the high rank players, which makes them strong, right? So the tier list probably compresses down a lot or even flips if you're really low rank. Again, if you're like A rank or below, Ladiva is actually one of the best characters in the game. So that's one thing, right? But let's move on for a sec here from the idea of arguing character strength and whether or not it's okay to play a top tier. I want to get something clear. Let's say you dislike Nier, right? You don't like Nier. You think that it's stupid that the game devs released a character that has a DP that does 70% of your life or whatever, right? And it's like, it's harder to punish than normal, and he can do it. Sometimes it's completely safe, because if Death's not near, get it? Like, you can't even punish her for doing DP at that point, right? Like, I mean, you can get rid of Death, but Nier's not going to get punished from there, right? So you think this movie is really stupid, and you hate Nier, and you hate the developers for doing something like this. Fine, valid. However, hating Nier and getting on Nier players for playing the character is a very different thing, and you need to separate those concerns, right? Just because, even if the character if everything I just said is incorrect, and the character is provably overpowered and provably the worst mistake ever made in fighting games, despite the fact that, again, most modern fighting games, like, if Ladiva's like bottom 3, let's say, and Nier is top 1, right? And there's like 30 characters in the game, so that's a lot of gap between them. These games are balanced a lot better than they used to be. Right? Like, the bottom tier characters can still put up a fight. Ladiva in particular has a pretty good matchup against Nier DP, because command grab beats it like clean, right? So, but sure, let's move on for a second. But even if all of that is true and Nier is provably overpowered and she's the worst thing to ever happen to fighting games, right? That is a problem with Nier. Leave the Nier player out of this, right? Just wait for the patch. Fighting games these days, luckily for us, you know, it's not 2008 anymore, where like a character was released broken, and that's just like, we just hope for the next version of the game, you know, that's something that'll be changed. No, you know, Grand Blue, it's been like 3 months, I guess, so that's like a pretty long time without a patch, but it's gonna get a patch. And Nier's actually been like, you know, stealthily, they've been testing out some things, very slight nerfs to her power, you know, like, it's definitely, they know what's happening and it's coming. But that has nothing to do with the player, right? It really is. It's don't hate the player, hate the game. Right? They're playing a character that's strong because they want to win. We've established that's okay because it's a competitive fighting game. If you want to hate the character for being strong, either stop playing the game until they get nerfed, right? Or deal with it and do your best to, I know a lot of you guys hate this term, but it's real. Do your best to learn the matchup. And even if learning the matchup doesn't suddenly make it okay, learning the Nier matchup doesn't suddenly make her balanced, right? She's still very strong. But at least then, when the nerfs inevitably come, guess what? You were in the trenches. You were surviving against the broken, overpowered Nier. Now Nier is like a more balanced character. Whew, you're going to wipe the floor with all of those Nier mains. Like, they got a problem now, right? Like, sorry, Nier mains, but it's true, right? If your character gets, like, significantly nerfed, right? Like, and, like, some of her, maybe they over-nerf her even. It happens sometimes, right? And, like, all of her best tools get taken away. You are, like, set for that Nier matchup. Because, you were, like, Rock Lee with the leg weights on. Like, you were surviving as best as you could in the matchup back when she was overpowered. You're going to be golden now. So, the point that I'm trying to make here, again, is that even if you want to hate the character, leave the player out of it. Remember, the original point of this is that playing a top tier is okay, and that the players should not be flamed for that. Because it happens a lot, right? It happens a lot that people get flamed for picking the strong character. So I just want to keep hammering home that this is the idea that I disagree with. I am not saying Nier is not. I'm not saying that Nier is not strong. I'm not saying that Nier is not too strong. Let me. I might move this a little earlier in the video because it's a little bit of an important topic here. But I will say one thing, right? Obviously, the part that people don't. One of the things that gets very annoying, right, is when people are playing a character that is obviously very strong, and they try and downplay them to avoid the nerf hammer, right? I understand that this is one of the things that bugs people a lot, right? And I, again, olive branch to the top tier haters, I agree. But again, you have to remember that one, a lot of people are doing that because it's a defense mechanism. Basically, it's a chicken egg thing, right? If your character is considered too strong or OP or good, suddenly your wins, you take no credit for your wins and you take double pain for your losses, right? Because everyone goes, oh, you were carried by Nier. And when you lose, like, you lost with Nier? Right? So it's a bit of a defense mechanism, I think, in the sense that they don't want their character to be viewed as broken and OP, and they focus on the weaknesses in the counterplay so that people, can let them play the video game in peace, right? And then obviously there's some people who have more malicious intentions where they want to try and shift the public narrative to avoid the nerf bat, but I think that's a little silly. I think for the most part, developers, they get lots of data about win rates and things like that. Like, I don't think you talking about, oh, bro, but no, JP is actually not even that strong on Twitter is really going to, he got nerfed. Ken got nerfed, right? They know what's going on. They know what's going on. So those people I disagree with. If you play a top tier and you're trying to downplay them because you're trying to avoid nerfs, I guess I can kind of respect the hustle because you want to keep winning. You want to keep playing your broken character. Fair enough. But like, just give it up, man. Just admit. Just be like, you know what? Yes, this character is broken, but deal with it. Dude, I have so much respect for that. If you're playing a character, you're like, yeah, this move's broken. Learn the matchup, right? And you go off and you DP people to death with Nier and you dance on their graves. That's big respect for me, man. I got nothing but respect for you. I love it. But yeah, I don't. So that's a topic for sure, right? The idea of downplaying a top tier character. I get that, and I disagree with that. But I want you to remember, for most people, I think that's also a bit of a defense mechanism, right? If everyone could just be a little bit calmer and stop being so vitriolic about character choice, that kind of stuff probably wouldn't happen. If people could just be okay saying, yeah, my character's busted, and not get, like, jumped on by the community, right? I don't think that would be a problem. But unfortunately, that's not the way that it is. I agree. I think Nier is too strong. I think maybe some stuff is a little bit exaggerated, but like they need to touch this move. This move cannot remain like it is for the lifetime of the video game. It's a problem. This move is too strong, straight up, right? They need to touch it more than they have. They've done some mild. I personally, again, let me extend an olive branch here to Nier mains. I think that right there, where she can so Nier has this thing, right, which one of the things that makes her very powerful is that she can special cancel all of her specials into all of her other specials, and her specials don't have any cooldowns. Right, like if I do like my EX special with I'm on training mode, so it instantly refreshes. But let me, but yes, yeah, there you go. Not fast cooldown, default. Did that save? Yes. If I do that, right, my EX command grab there, it's got a cooldown. You can see the bar filling up there. Nier does not have this problem, right? She has, you see, it's immediate. But she has the stocks there, the little death cards, when she runs out of them, she can't use death for a little bit, but most of the time, by the time she runs out of them, you're dead. And the lower those stocks are, the more powerful her supers get, so it's a really good way for her to close out rounds. But anyway, I'm going to extend an olive branch out to all of the Nier haters and all the top tier haters. Listen, I think, personally, if I could do, I'll make this one change to Nier, and then I think she would still be strong, but at that point, I don't think we need to touch her. This is no longer special cancelable. Now, I'm sorry, listen, Nier mains. I'll be honest, I'm speaking in somewhat ignorance. I don't know if that completely demolishes all of your combo routes with the character. If that's the case, I would want them to change the other specials in some way to get those combo routes back, right? If that's not the case, then don't worry about it. But I just think that her DP should basically not lead into a full combo, right? However that is done, that they can figure it out, but that is the change I make. I think this DP should literally only be a DP. That'll make it actually worse than the average DP, because now it loses to throws, right? It would actually be more in line with Ladiva's headbutt here, except, of course, for the fact that it's meterless, right? That'll make it worse than the average DP, but she still has a lot of other stuff that's strong. So I think that's a very fair change, right? But again, so I'm not saying that she's not strong, but there's a difference. I'm saying that it's okay that she's strong, and it's okay to play her despite her being strong. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but this is just, again, something that it's very pervasive, so I'm trying to be very clear in what I'm saying here. All right. I suppose what else can we talk about here? I mean, that's the general idea for sure. I guess there's one other topic that I want to touch on here, where on sort of the flip side, right? Playing a low tier character does not make you special. Okay, like it's the famous low tier option select, right? Is what it's called, where like you play like a really bad character. Let's say for this example, Ladiva is a really bad character. I think she's I think it's probably one of the weaker characters. I don't know if she's like bottom 3 or bottom 10 or bottom 1. Probably not, but you know, let's say for this example, Ladiva's bottom 1, right? Listen, there's nothing like. I don't just get to play Ladiva and then like when I lose say, oh, I was playing a low tier, and when I win say, oh my god, you lost to a low tier, right? It's the classic, right? Again, anyone who's played fighting games for any amount of time has been hit with the low tier option select. I don't do that, right? But it's definitely a thing. And in the same way that I think that there's nothing wrong with playing a high tier, playing a low tier character, that's not like a badge of honor, right? I play Ladiva, and grapplers in general, grapplers tend to be on the weaker end, especially in more of the modern fighting games where Oki in general has been something that they've been kind of nerfing a little bit, like as the genre has aged, right? Because it's one of the more, I guess, annoying parts for new players. But anyway, grapplers tends to be on the weaker end in most modern fighting games, right? Potemkin is not super strong at Strive. Zangief in SF6, at least, I know in some versions of 4 and 5, he's actually pretty competent. But in SF6, Zangief is definitely on the weaker end. Ladiva is definitely one of the weaker characters in Rising. God, Taker, man, you Taker mains. I don't know how you do it. I've never got super into BlazBlue, but I feel your pain. In general, right? Grapplers tend to be weak. I play grapplers not so I can low tier option select people and like hide behind the shield of, oh, but my character sucks. No. It's because I think grapplers are cool. It's because I'm an idiot, right? I'm a big, large meathead, and doing this to people activates neurons in my brain that other characters just don't, right? Doing this to people activates neurons in my brains that other characters just don't, right? Do you think again, King, I'm interested in dabbling in some Tekken 8 here pretty soon on the channel, because I think we've, our Grand Blue journey is coming to an end in the sense that, we hit Master. Like, I feel like I'm pretty good at Grand Blue. We've gotten a lot of learning opportunities out of it for everyone else to get value out of, And from what I've heard, King in Tekken 8 is real strong. I know you guys, anyone who follows Tekken, if you guys have seen Coney and Sajam's event there, you know about Coney and the 5 moves of Doom, and King is a very simple character with a very strong game plan, with very difficult mix. He does a ton of damage, right? You think I'm gonna be like, oh no, the grappler's high tier, what am I gonna, no! I'm gonna go in there and I'm glad, man. Tekken is a hard game. I don't have experience in 3D fighters. Please, King, carry me. You think my neurons aren't gonna fire when I pedigree people into the ground, when I suplex their ass, when I tombstone pile driver? I'm gonna hit a rolling death cradle on somebody, and I'm gonna cut the video, man. I'm gonna have to go change my pants, right? I play grapplers because I think they're fun. The fact that they're low tier, if anything, that's not something that I enjoy. It's fun to play strong characters, man. Like, the parts of grapplers that I enjoy are the strong parts, right? It's the vortex. It's doing this, right? Into working the crowd, into doing this, right? And just looping it over and over. Like, and this is strong. This is the part grapplers are designed. This is an incredibly strong mix-up. It's a 50-50 that loops in on itself forever, right? If you don't guess, like, and then you want to guess throw, right? But then the strike does more damage, so it's scarier. That is the fun part of the grapplers. Is the really strong part. So again, it's playing a low tier is not some sort of badge of honor, right? And it's not something that people. This is sort of a unrelated topic, but I just wanted to fit that in there, is because I feel like it's tangentially related to this idea, right? I think a more apt sort of idea for this whole thing is that how strong your character is really doesn't matter. Okay. Let's summarize here. I know this has been a long one, and I hope you guys have stuck around for my rambling. I know I tend to go off on tangents, but I think I've covered basically everything I wanted to cover. So let's just summarize the idea here, right? I think if I had to, I'm not very good at being succinct, but I'm gonna do my best, right? In general, I think the strength of your character does not matter in terms of, like, as a judge of who you are as a person, or whether or not you deserve credit for your wins, or whether you need to be called a tier whore or bullied or whatever. I think the strength of your character does not matter for that at all, for 4 reasons. 1, it's okay to just want to play a strong character and win, even if you know that they're broken, and you're doing it because they're broken, and you know that they're overpowered, and you're doing it because they're overpowered. That's fine. It's a competitive game. Playing to win is totally fine. 2, most of you are probably wrong about how strong a character actually is. Right? I'm not saying this in like I'm not very good at the game either. Like, I know I'm master rank, but like the gap between me and like an actual good player, like, Diaphone, Shinku, Zerom, these people, it's an ocean. It's a canyon. I'm nowhere near on their level. So I'm not out here on my ivory tower talking about, like, oh, you guys don't understand the game like me. You guys can't make judgments about characters. No, I'm saying just in general, people don't tend to realize that the tier lists that are made by super high level players, that they're talking about their experiences, they're playing a completely different game from us. A completely different game from us, right? So, besides the fact that it's okay to play a strong character, 2, you're probably wrong about how strong that character is in your rank, right? Like, if you're playing Ladiva and you're like, oh man, I'm losing man. I just lost to another Nier. I'm playing Ladiva. I can't get out of A5, right? Because all of these Niers and these Belials and these Seoxes, they're just running me over, man. I got news for you. Your character might even be better than theirs at the rank that you're at. Call me crazy, but that I stand by that. So, 2, yeah, you're probably just wrong about how strong the character is in your rank, right? For 3, even if you're right about if the first 2 points are wrong and you're right about everything and this character sucks and the devs need to go to hell for making them and this is the worst thing to ever happen to a fighting game, which I doubt, but let's just give you all of that. That is still a problem with the character. There is nothing wrong with a player picking that character, right? C.1, right? So even if they're the worst thing to ever occur in the history of the genre and of video games and of all media, that's a problem with Nier. That's not a problem with, you know, Bagel Belt 79, who just likes to play Nier because for whatever reason they have, right? And lastly, the 4th point that I think overall that I made in this video is, on the flip side, if you're playing a low tier, I mean, I hope you have a good reason, right? I have a good reason in the sense that I just, you know, I think they're fun, and I think, again, I'm pretty sure, like, I can just get good enough with my low tier to beat Niers, right? I can just lab my Ladiva out and get good enough at the matchup and get good enough at my fundamentals. I can beat, you know, as a master rank Ladiva, I can beat like 99% of the Niers in this game, right? So I'm okay with playing a low tier because I know I can still win, and more importantly, I have a lot of fun with, like, I like doing the big grabs, right? But if you're playing a low tier for the sake of, like, basically sheltering your ego, right, and doing a little bit of an option select there, and just being like, well, when I win, I get to be like, awesome, I'm so good, I won, even though the low tier, you know, I have to do all the heavy lifting, and when I lose, I can just be like, oh, you know, if only I could play a character as strong as you. If only I could be like you Nier mains. You know, if only I could debase my integrity enough to play such a top tier character. Maybe then I could get out of A5. No, man. No. That's not reasonable, right? And sorry, again, so that's it. That's the main point of the video there. But I'm sorry. I know I got a little animated there. For the, you know, 3rd or 4th time, I just want to hammer home that I have nothing against, like, any individual person who shares any of these mindsets, right? I think I have a bad habit of when I'm trying to make a point, I like exaggerate to get to prove a point. I go to the extreme to prove a point, right? So when I talk about, oh, they're the worst thing to ever happen in the history of video. I know that's not what most, like, anyone is ever saying, right? But I'm saying, like, even if that was true, it's still not valid to hate the player for that. So I exaggerate to prove a point, and that can sometimes lead to me being a bit animated. But I mean no disrespect to anybody who doesn't like people who play top tiers. I ask that you think about it for a second in this viewpoint, right? And maybe you realize that, like, you know, if at best you're like, you know what, I still hate Nier, but you, Nier player, you're okay. Hey, how do I deal with this, right? Then that's fine, right? That's okay. All right. Anyway, yeah. So that's I think the gist of everything I wanted to cover in the video. Apparently it's 33 minutes long. Or something. I mean, I might cut out some of this in the middle, but right now my raw recordings, that's 33 minutes. So I hope I'll try and maybe edit this around to make it a little bit more cohesive, because I know I went off of some tangents every now and then. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments there. I know this is a bit of a contentious topic, possibly, but I think it's an important one to talk about, right? And it's one that's like, this applies in, again, Grand Blue, Tekken, Street Fighter, Third Strike, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, right? Though those games, I mean, the balance is even stranger over there. Any game that you play, right? And I think this is a reasonable topic of conversation to have. So, all right, yeah, that's it. That's rant over, 33 minutes long. I guess we can get into the outro now. You know, the housekeeping stuff, as always. You made it this far in the video. I hope, you know, I got 4 things for you. For number 1, this whole video idea was inspired by just something that happened on the Discord. So if you want to potentially, and you know, people have been giving me video ideas that I want to implement too. So if you want to get in there, share some ideas, or just talk about Grand Blue and other video games and fighting games and things like that, hang out in the chill community, then we have a Discord server for you. Links in the description. I implore you to join it. It's a nice, welcoming place with a ton of, you know, really friendly and supportive people. Just, you know, if you join it, keep it that way. Right? I don't want anyone, well, I haven't really had to moderate anyone or like time out anyone or ban anyone, but I'm not going to hesitate if I have to. So just don't be the first person that I ban. You know, that's not a reputation that you want to have. For number 2, if you liked the video, and I sure hope you did, please get down there and like the damn video. You know how it goes. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. Greatly helps with the channel, and I appreciate it a lot, of course. Especially, you know, it's a different kind of content. I know normally, like, all of this noon EST content has been, like, gameplay, whether it's a tournament or ranked matches or whatever. But, you know, as we're kind of... you know, we're going into tournaments and we're not playing as much ranked in Grand Blue here as the Grand Blue journey kind of winds down to an end. I figured we can get some more, you know, side content, not quite gameplay, just talking about general fighting game concepts, discussion videos, things like that. So we're trying out something new here on the channel. So please, if you like this kind of stuff, let me know by dropping a like and a subscribe for number 3, right? While you're down there, that subscribe button, that bell button, they're right over there. They'll keep you up to date with all this content I'm throwing at you every day. We got new videos coming out every noon p.m. EST and every 7 p.m. EST. Noon p.m. being Grand Blue Rising content. 7 p.m. right now it's Relink, which is it's a basically Monster Hunter with Grand Blue characters, right? That's a fun series. It's a lot more chill than these kinds of videos where we just kind of hang out, play games, nerd out about math, and get immersed in the story there. So I implore you to watch that too. I think it's a good time. But yes, we got like an hour and a half or so of content coming out every day, so you want to stay up to date with that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell button. And of course, for number 4, most importantly, more important than ever buttons to smash, whatever algorithm-friendly interactions you hit me with, or even whether or not you agree or disagree with the concept of this video. I hope you had a great time hanging out today, as always. I know I did, right? This is a good time, right? Like, I know, again, I got a little animated there, but I wasn't angry at anyone necessarily. This is something that I'm passionate and I care about, and I want fighting games to be a welcome community. Right, so I wanna make sure that we can all be nice and play whatever character we're interested in without having to worry about getting bullied by anyone. So yeah, having a lot of fun making this sort of content, and just with Grand Blue and fighting games and all that in general. It's gonna be a lot more content of all shapes and sizes coming your way. But until then, I will see you in the next one. Peace.